So then, we all remember Nigel. Nigel was getting stressed because he couldn't win matches in FC 24. No matter how much he played, he couldn't win matches on Ultimate. But Legendary was just too easy. But then he stumbled across this video and it made his life so much better. And even Jenny started to love him again. But there was still something eating away at him. Even though he was playing with realistic sliders, he just couldn't score the bangers that he used to. He spent days and nights researching ways to help him, and he was even calling his pals, saying that he couldn't go out to the boozer with them. But little did our Nige know that there was a nerd lurking in the shadows, doing all of God's work, making sure that the sliders were absolutely perfect. Finding the balance between realism and being able to score stone cold bangers. Well, fear no more, Nige, because CMK is dropping them sliders right now. Now, if you're enjoying the slider series, make sure that you drop a like for me right now, because look how happy Nige is. But I've got to be honest, Jenny, you're looking pretty spicy in this video, and my digits will be dropped in the description below. Now, as I've explained already, these sliders are based on my realism sliders, but just to give you that chance to score some absolute bloody bangers. Now, if you haven't watched my Birmingham City rebuild, some of the best goals are on screen right now, and I used these sliders that I'm going to show you in this video today in that career mode. And oh my bloody god, I've never scored bangers like it in my whole bloody life. It was still challenging, it was still hard to play, but god damn, look at this strike from Hawley. Now lads, if you are new around these parts, make sure that you're subscribed, and if you have a request for any more sliders, make sure you stick a comment on this video and I'll get working on them ASAP Rocky. Right then geezers, let's get into the video. Okay then, let's have a look at them. Let's have a look at the new sliders then. Now, they're not massively different, but all I've done is tweaked them a little bit to make it... It's not that it's less realistic, but it's just that opportunity to score some absolute bangers. That's all it is. Now, if you've watched the Birmingham City rebuild, nutty. Like, some of the goals I scored in there, absolutely incredible. Some of the best I've ever scored in any rebuild. And this is, again, it works for me. If it don't work for you, change it up. Now, again, you could lower the shot error to make your shots potentially a little bit more favourable. You can up it if you think they're going in too easy and they're going in too many times. It's just total preference. So just go through them. And I always find that if you're going to change something, change it by 2. Don't change it by 1, but don't change it by 5. Just change it by a couple. So stick it up to 57 or something like that. We're going to go through it. Now, like our last set of sliders, sprint speed is still on 15. Now, if you like the game a little bit slower, I would chuck it down to 10, which is what Matt 10 sliders make. Slider guru. Shout out Matt 10. Absolutely incredible. Me personally, I like it a little bit quicker, but I think 20 is too high. So we're sticking with 15 because it's just a nice little medium ground, yeah? Acceleration. Now, with acceleration, this was 51 for the CPU. I hated it. I don't know if it was just mental. Like, I don't know if it was just because I kept thinking, oh, they're a little bit quicker than because of the sliders. I don't know. But I found that getting this back to 50 just gives me that kind of peace of mind that, yeah, we're both the same. It's depending on the player, not on the sliders, rather than while they're beating me to the ball and things like that. Shot error. Now, this is where we've brought shot error down by 5 for us. Now, when I was using the last set of sliders, the 60, it is more realistic because 9 times out of 10, your long range shots ain't going to go in. And your shorter range shots, they're at least going to be on target, but not necessarily in the corners and stuff like that. And again, the difference between it is I've been playing with Halzo in town, which are like 50, 60 rated players. And then I moved to Birmingham and I was having high 60s, 70s, maybe even 80 rated players. So there is a difference there, but I was scoring bangers with my left back. And I know I was lining them up perfect and things like that. So I know it was something to do with the way I was playing the game, but also I think the shot accuracy or the shot error did play a difference. We've left pass error the same, and to be fair, we probably could even knock that down by 2. It's just one of them things that when you're playing with a team like lower leagues, Halzo in Town, the career mode that I'm doing at the moment, it's always going to be that their passing is pretty crap. But I think the biggest thing about passing is your pass speed. It was 35 last time. We're going with 37 now, and I just think upping that just gives a little bit more zip to your passing. At the end of the day, they're not Sunday League players. They're lower league English football players. They can still pass a ball and they can still zip a ball around. And I think it's important just to knock that up just a little bit. Now, shot speed has been decreased quite a bit, and it's been decreased for both sides. Shot speed there. Now, shot speed for them a little bit higher, for us a little bit lower. I just think to get the best kind of goals, that you've got to be using either finesse or you've got to be using your power shots, really. The other shots, but to be honest, does it really change much? I don't think so. So I don't think you need to worry about it too much. Now, let's go back to pass error and things like that. Now, pass error for the computer, I've gone 58, sorry, and we've gone 35, which is a little bit lower for the speed and a little bit higher for the error. Now, I just think with the CPU this season, or this year anyway, especially the first, you always get it for the first couple of updates, they just zip the ball around and they make you look like an absolute mug at the back. I don't think it's real. It's not true to life. You're not going to be able to zip the ball around like some of the teams do. And again, in the last video I did, you'll see that like Brighton's passing is just like, it's one touch and it's back to front in like 3 or 4 seconds. It's just not real. And to be honest, if you're looking for a slower gameplay, then you need to make sure these are down, just because it's just essential for the game to play playable, basically. Injury frequency, I've upped it to 70, but I've reduced the severity to 30. Again, it's just one of those things that I like. I like to have a little bit of injury frequency. I think it's important. It's real. It's true to life, and it forces you to play with the players that you've got. So if you're just using your first team every single day, it's just going to get boring. It's just going to get dead. But if you're using some of your reserves, even bringing through some of your youth players, again, it's one of them things that I just like. It's true to life. It's real. So yeah, we're going with that one. Now, goalkeeper ability, we've lowered it again, and I have done this just due to the fact that every time I am one-on-one with any goalkeeper in this game, they turn into absolute bloody Chris MD's cat. They are just incredible, tipping things left, right and centre. You can't get anything past, even if you finesse it into the bottom corner. So I've lowered it down, and I've lowered it down quite substantially, actually. My goalkeeper's ability is obviously a lot lower, but you'll see here their goalkeeper's ability is a lot lower than it was last time. It's almost, what is that, 12? No, 8 lower than it was last time. And again, I just think it's massively important. You want to score goals at the end of the day. You want it to be a fun game. You don't just want it to be 0-0, 1-0 every single time. You want a few goals going in. And I think by doing this, you're just allowing yourself the opportunity to score. Let's go a little bit further down then. Marking, I've stayed with 50. It was 55 last time. Again, just gives you, if you're lowering pass speed and you are lowering or hiring, sorry, the pass error, then you're going to need to give them a little bit of space to get their shots off. We've reduced things. We've made it harder for them to score, but we're just giving them more opportunities to score. And again, it's true to life. It's one of them things that you see in games where Man City will dominate and not necessarily score every single goal. Do you know what I mean? So you don't want it to be that every time you do give them an opportunity to score, they do. You just want it to make it a little bit truer to life. Now, all of these at the bottom here, they're similar to what they were last time, but with frequency of running, I've just upped it by, well, I've upped it quite substantially actually. I've upped it by 15. Now, again, with these, I was just trying to make the game a little bit more fun. Still realistic, but fun. And having it as low as 20 just seemed that my players, that I physically had to think about when I wanted them to run, rather than them actually just having a little bit of autonomy. Just go and have a wander up pitch, mate, and get yourself into a few positions, and you'll see, if you watch the Birmingham City career mode, that Buchanan and Laird were very, very high when we were attacking, but when we were defensive, I told them to sit back, and this was in my these team tactics. I told them to sit back, and I told them to be quite squeezed in. So this doesn't necessarily supersede your tactics, but also just gives you that opportunity to get yourself up pitch a little bit, get yourself up pitch, have a little bit of a dig. And the Buchanan goal is just outstanding. It's one of the nicest goals. I know the Hall one, incredible. I know Dembele's one was just mental. But Buchanan was just such a beautiful moment. Class player, gets himself up and down, and that one just to pick him out at the end of the season, him to dink it into the top binzer. Oh, it's a stuff of dreams. Now, we've just done run frequency, so we've got line height. This has been upped slightly, so it's how high or low the defensive line is. So again, doesn't necessarily supersede your tactics, but I've just boosted it up a little bit. I just wanted them a little bit higher. Sometimes get some people in behind, you know what I mean? Line length, same as last time, but line width is how compact or stretched. So yeah, again, I just wanted to give them a little bit more space. So by lowering the marking and widening the length of where people are used on the pitch, it creates a little bit more space in between the lines, so in between the lines of the defence and the midfield. But then again, if you want to fill that, stick yourself a CDM in there, which I do most of the time. I had Šunić, Bielik, and who else did I have? I have Dendonka for Halzoin. So by just sitting someone in there, it protects you at least, but also gives that, there's a little bit of lines that they can get into. Fullback positioning, keep it as normal. We don't want them too high, we don't want them too low, but again, by upping that frequency, just getting them bombing up and down. And then first touch control, I have lowered slightly. Lowered the error basically. I've lowered it by 10, which seems loads, but actually the difference isn't that much. But by doing that, I've also lowered it for the CPU as well. I think with the fact that we've upped their passing mistakes, their errors, then it just gives them the opportunity to actually play a little bit of football. If you just make sure that their first touch control is lowered slightly. So yeah, lowering the CPU's first touch control by 10 as well. Now, when we look back at the others, so with the CPU's goalkeeping ability, I've just dropped it down by a hair, just by a couple. Didn't want it too easy, but again, by having it slightly lower, like 3 lower, I think it does make a difference. Doing it by 1 is not enough. Doing it by 2, yeah, it's alright, it does make a difference, but making it 3 and upping our, well, lowering our shot error, again, just allows us to have a few opportunities on goal. They still make some unbelievable saves, but it just gives us the opportunity to score some of the bangers that we have been. And again, I don't want to put them on the screen too many times, but Jesus Christ, have a look at these goals that we scored, because they're just naughty. Positioning and marking, we've gone with 55, same as last time. I think it's nice that they are able to mark a little bit better than we are, but again, we want a little bit of space. We don't want them to be up our arse all the time. Run frequency, I've upped it for them as well. Now, this could be good for them, it could be bad for them. It's good for them, obviously they get people in attack, but it also means they're a little bit light on the defensive side of things. And again, linking back to what they are, how they are set up. If they're set up as a counter-attacking team, then their fullbacks probably won't run as much, or their players won't make as many runs. If they've got forward runs on, then obviously they'll run a lot more than the others will. But I think this is most prevalent with the fullbacks, that you see them bombing on, overtaking their wingers and stuff like that. But again, it's one of them things that I don't think matters too much, especially with the CPU. For us, it does matter. Line height I've stuck the same. You've got line length, I've stuck the same. Line width, again, I've just upped that slightly. So again, just a little bit more space between the lines. Just allows us to pick a pass out. If you've got quite a creative midfielder, which I had Hannibal and Hall and Bellingham for the Blues, and also we've obviously got Halilovic. We've got, God, who else? Then Donker's quite creative as well. Yeah, for Halzo in town. So Webster as well. So you've got a few players there who are quite creative. Now, that's the way I play. I like to dink balls in over the top. I like to play long through balls, so our wingers get involved. So again, just by doing that a little bit, just gives me that opportunity, give me that little bit of time to make the passes and make the runs. And then first touch control, we've already talked about. So they're my sliders. That's what I've updated them to. Now, if they don't work for you, they don't work for you. Just go with what you think is best. Play around with them. And I'm not precious about these. I'm not going to cry if you change my sliders. Come back to me and say, yo, CMK, do this, try this. And 100% will. I promise you, I'm not precious about them. If you tell me they don't work for you, just be respectful, do you know what I mean? But if they tell me that they don't work for you, they don't work for you. Tell me what does work for you, because I want to hear it. Now, I had someone the other day go and ask me about my my camera settings. Now, my camera settings, I normally leave them alone a little bit, but I did actually check and realised at the very start of FIFA I'd changed them slightly. Now, this is for me just because I like to see most of the pitch. I like to play long crossfield balls and things like that. So this is what I've gone with. So I've gone with all the legacy, but I've gone down into here, custom camera settings. Now, I've gone with height, which is 17, so really quite high up, yeah? Really high up in the stands so that I can see most of the pitch, but then zoomed all the way out as well, so 3 on the zoom. Far side focus is 4, so again, being able to have a look at the far side of the pitch. When I do play, I tend to favour the side of the pitch that I'm on. I don't know why. It's just the player that's closest to me. I'm not Jose Mourinho when he was with Shaw. I just like to control the people who are closer to me. Yeah, it's just one of them weird ones. Penalty area zoom, again, I didn't want it too zoomed in, so I went with 3 on that one. So again, tell me if I should be using any other settings for my cameras, but these are working for me at the moment. I'm enjoying them. Now, the only other thing I'm going to tell you about is our gameplay. Now, I've gone with competitive preset again. I think it's always a good one. Now, someone said in the last episode of these sliders that it doesn't change your online matches. Yeah, I want to make that clear. I knew that. I just forgot to put it in the actual video. I didn't even think about it, to be fair, but I did know that. Yeah, when you're playing clubs and stuff like that, bloody hell, passing seems really hard if you're using these presets. Now, last time we went with like manual for basically everything. Now, what has happened is they've updated it and they seem better. Now, this is only at this point in time. Honestly, it could change day to day. You never know. But at the moment, it seems to be a lot better, which is why we're going on semi for most of these things. There's a few manual, but we'll go and talk about them in a second. So, through pass assistance has become a lot better. I don't know if it was that there was a focus on this like auto block thing for the opposition, but through passes seem to be working a little bit better, and it's exactly the same with lob through passes. They seem to have dialed back on the assistance, so actually it feels a little bit more like manual, but you can still get that if you do it in a rush, it's not going to go the other side of the pitch, basically. Ground pass assistance, again, I think I kept this on semi last time. I think it's just one of them easy ones. You don't really want to think about where you're passing and who you're passing to, etc, etc. Cross assistance, cross assistance is so much better now. Oh my god, I don't know what they did in the new update, but hallelujah. Assisted now works perfectly, okay? So I would say semi or assisted. Manual is hard. If you like it, you like it. But me personally, I'm on assisted now because it just works so much better. But again, it's one of them things. Lob pass assistance, I like manual just because I like to dink the ball into the box quite early. So not necessarily crossing, but when you can see your striker in the box and you want to dink it to him, you've got I don't know, a tall striker, someone who's going to hold the ball up. So I've got Wesley at Halzoin, and who was I playing with at Birmingham? Oh, we've got Troy Parrott. Oh, we've got Tales Magno. So he was fantastic holding the ball up, flicking balls on, things like that. Pass receiver lock is late. Precision pass sensitivity, I've gone with normal. Directional on the defending and also tactical defending. I hate this advanced defending. I don't know what it is. And legacy defending is just crap. But tactical defending is one of the ones that we've been using for years and years and years anyway. Pass block assistance. Yeah, I've kept it on. I've got to be honest with you. I ain't got a clue what it is. Yeah, and then all the others, I think, are pretty, yeah, all normal. So that is it, geezers. That is my slider setup. This is for a little bit more fun. Yeah, so if you like realistic, the sliders that I put up before definitely still work for realistic gameplay. Promise you, they don't change really for most of the year. But these ones, for me, create... It's still realistic, but actually, you get to have a little bit more fun, and you're probably scoring a few more bangers. That's all it is, really. And these are the ones that I'm going to be using for my rebuilds. And probably now, I'm going to start using them for my Halzo in town as well. Just so that we can get some more bangers, because the realistic gameplay, Jesus Christ, it's about 1 in every 100 shots that end up being nice goals. Whereas this one, you're probably looking at 1 in 50, which it's still high, but actually it's just a nice little way to play the game, innit? You know what I mean? And there it is then, geezers, the new slider set up to make your goals look as sexy as Ana de Armas when she's just got out of bed in the morning. If you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed the slider setup, make sure that you drop a like right now. Subscribe if you're new. Make sure that you share it to all your pals, your moms, your dads, their dogs, all that sort of stuff. And if you haven't already, make sure that you go and watch the Birmingham rebuild. Will be on the screen right now. And if you enjoy the content, go and have a look at Halzoing as well. Much love, geezers, and peace.